how I want this to actually overall angle at me while I do these streams. And to some degree, although I don't care as much, you want it to be like mildly flattering to you, just a smidgen, which never seems to happen. I always seem to look a little bit off, but gaining a little bit of weight will do that to you. So anyway, with that being said, to anybody who's new here, my name is Andrew Douglas Moon, but also Douglas Moon is the name of the channel now. It's going to take a little bit of a while for me to like fully readjust to just going by Douglas Moon because that's how this channel started. But I did take on a different variation of the name for a little bit. So anyway, welcome to my stream. If you're new here, I stream quite often, and as well, other things I do quite often is because I'm getting older, 32 years old. I also have to go to the bathroom quite a bit. So forgive me if there's little breaks in here. I'm not using my microphones today, so hopefully you guys can hear me pretty okay. But this particular stream, I did a stream recently where I talked about my top 30 favorite fragrances. Good morning, Mick. Super happy to see you, buddy. Welcome back. I'm glad that you get to be here today. I'm really happy to see you come through. Sorry, I'm just checking real fast. According to the website, I was looking at fragrances earlier, trying to convince me to buy some fragrances as if I don't have enough already. They sent me an email, one of those marketing emails, saying, "You've got some fantastic taste. Do you want to continue with this purchase?" And I'm thinking, well, if I wanted to do that, I probably would have did it already. But I appreciate the compliment. So with that being said, first and foremost, Mick, I hope you've been doing good. I'd love to catch up a little bit during this time. As per always, to you, anybody who watches this back later when I do these live streams, there might be a title, there might be an overarching like purpose to the stream, but at the end of the day, it's like we can talk about whatever at the end of the day as long as it just is respectful to one another. So, right at the forefront, just throwing it out there. If you come through the stream, you're more than welcome to ask questions, talk, tell me your thoughts. This is an open community, so long as you're being respectful, not vulgar, all that stuff. And if you do any of those things that are like out of the rules, then you're gonna get kicked from the chat. But that's okay. As well, I'm going to work on talking a little slower today because I realize it's easier for people to feel relaxed and to listen when I'm not going 1,000 miles a minute. But once comments start to happen, what can you do? But with that being said, I'm going to get some updates about things towards the end of the stream or maybe even at the halfway mark. I'm not entirely sure how long I'm going to be going today, but I've got quite a while. So all questions are welcome. But again, I'm Douglas Moon. I was Andrew Douglas Moon, which is my first name for a while, but I decided to go back to this. So all that babble out of the way. Everybody's welcome. I'm going to take a quick break real fast. I know it's early, but I just started. But at the same time, I can't help myself. Unfortunately, once you get older, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But I'm going to be talking about my personal fragrances that I hate the most. I'll be right back, you guys. All right. Yeah, so unfortunately, when you are encouraged to drink a lot of fluids for hydration purposes prior to an appointment, it can go really screwy really fast. Don't mind my eczema, you guys. But now that I'm backed away a little bit. So, this video in particular, again, as always, people are welcome to ask questions, talk about whatever you want to talk about. But the core thing I want to really start off with is I did a top 30. It took a while for me to make this list, very hard. I continue to kind of shift around my 30 favorite fragrances because, again, it's just difficult to do that. If you have a lot of exposure to different materials, different fragrance profiles, stuff that you really connect to, it can be hard to kind of put them in a list that really feels like the most like I want this here, I want this there. But I did it. And again, I already regretted some of it because there's things I wanted to shift around the next day because our feelings can change about things. With that being said, today's main goal is I want to talk about fragrances that I just really don't like. Now, I have quite a few in this collection, as you can see, that I've done reviews for, ones that I haven't done reviews for just yet. Actually, the largest portion of what you see here, I have not even reviewed yet. So there is so much I've got to work through, and I've already filmed 10 the other day, and I can't wait to actually show them to you guys. But there are fragrances that I can already say ahead of time just really are not for me. So there's not any particular order, and you guys are more than welcome to ask questions, but I'm kind of just going to run through them a little bit. To start with, one fragrance that I've talked about an awful lot. I'm going to do like an actual review for this eventually, but it's going to be very, very short. When I do, just for the sake of having the video up there, I'm going to talk about Vulcan Few or Foy, however you say it. I think it's Few. I don't know. But this is by French Avenue. This is supposed to be a God of Fire dupe. Everybody has probably seen this, as you'll always hear on my channel. I know I sound like a little whiny baby, a little complainer. But I despise TikTok behavior. I despise marketing reviewers. That's what I'm going to start calling them, marketing reviewers. Anybody whose job is to be a salesman for fragrance companies, especially dupes and cheapies, I don't care for that. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there one more time that if you are that kind of channel, if you, as I hopefully develop and grow, if you ever, I'm not saying this for the sake of being controversial. I could care less about that. I know I got tattoos and I look like I want to be edgy. I really don't. I love perfumery and hopefully you do too. And there are a lot of wonderful channels doing a great job being sincere. There's also a lot of channels who are paid and just throw crap at you because they get paid good money, surprisingly good money, to throw crap your way. So that's not what we do here. If you're looking for that, there's loads and loads of people on TikTok and YouTube who are going to give that to you. We're not doing sensationalist crap here. So with that being said, starting this list off for sure. There is no like set order like my favorites I did the other day. I'm just going to be grabbing them and kind of showing them to you. I might even, if you guys would like, I think I'll go ahead and pull up as well so I can kind of talk about the notes to these fragrances because it doesn't hurt to get a little bit of an understanding of what they're supposed to be, the ones that I'm going to talk about. So this is Vulcan Few by French Avenue. You've probably seen this before. It's no surprise. This is supposed to be a God of Fire dupe. I do want to read really quickly what the notes of because it says sweet, juicy mango scent with some spice. A lot of people continue to say this is long lasting. A lot of people say this is supposed to be really explosive. People who are reviewers are saying this. There's other people who are being sincere, and that's exactly what I'm about to do because this is not very cheap. As a matter of fact, at this point, so this is still going for $56, 18% off on Amazon. If you get it directly, though, you're still looking at upwards of 70 US dollars for this. So that bothers me a lot because I'm okay with people buying dupes and cheapies and Middle Eastern cheapies as well. I don't like saying Middle Eastern perfumery because there's a lot of good companies like Amawash who are Middle Eastern, technically speaking, for the most part, but do things a lot different, more higher quality materials and so forth. Something doesn't have to be expensive to be fantastic. There's a lot of expensive things that absolutely suck. That's the truth. But when I say Middle Eastern perfumery, sometimes I'm just kind of not, just throwing it out there because it is a lot of where the dupes and cheapies come from, and we all know that. So back to the point. This is supposed to be a sweet, juicy, somewhat spicy mango take, and this is again supposed to be a God of Fire dupe. I hate this one. I hate it. Not just because, again, remember, fragrances are subjective. Perfumery is subjective. But I already didn't care too much for the profile here. I already was not the biggest fan of the notes and the qualities of this. Even though I do love things like Herba Pura, so it's not that I like fruity and berry-ish and also mango-y and tropical types of fragrances. I do. But this one was just very generic. Gingery mango. It was just a very basic fragrance type of profile. It was not very enriched, not very distinct. I feel the exact same way about God of Fire. So don't get me wrong. I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that God of Fire is some magical thing. It's really not. It's not worth the money. Performance is not really there. If you like it, that's okay. Now, again, I'm going to be telling you my thoughts and my opinions. If you disagree with what I say, please don't take offense and like come looking for an argument because that's silly. It's again our own personal opinions. So I'm going to tell you mine. But this right here is definitely one of those ones because French Avenue, like Latafa and a handful of other companies, they sponsor TikTokers and YouTubers who do what I'm doing right now. But these people just get sent these fragrances and they get paid good money to talk about these fragrances because they want you to buy them. They are playing off of your impulses. Sometimes they're worth it. Sometimes they're very much not. As a matter of fact, more often than not, they're not worth the money that you guys are throwing out there. For $54, and that's 18% off on Amazon, but like me, getting this directly, like buying this directly from the source when it came out, and now people paying 70 for it, it's insane because the performance is crap. It seriously, seriously is. I don't want to hear any stupid things about let it macerate. A lot of you guys are told to continue to have that mentality. I will say there are lots of fragrances, cheap and expensive, that obviously naturally with time, maceration, as we call it, can increase in overall density, performance, boldness. That obviously happens. But to judge a fragrance of its overall quality, you do not need to let something sit for 7 months for it to become valuable. It should be valuable to some degree or another right away if people are pushing it on you, saying it has some inherent value to it. So, with all the TikTokers and so forth that I had sent to me that I saw saying this was explosive, I couldn't help but think, what are you talking about? So, somebody, Azad, thank you, Azad. I hope I said your name properly. I always want to be respectful to you guys. So, no, it isn't better than God of Fire. God of Fire is also not great and definitely not worth the money. Again, that's my personal opinion. If you like this note profile, that's okay. This isn't my style. That's all right. We're all different. Fragrance is a work of art. Art is subjective. But hey, buddies, what's up, Tony? Super happy to see you here. But I would say that if you like this scent profile, it's fairly equal. You can still tell the difference between quality of materials, technically speaking, but and blending. But I would say that if you can smell God of Fire in this, they are fairly enough equal that if you really, really love this, then sure, I would say this is good enough for you. But what is better? Are you talking about what's like better for this? But just throwing this out there real quickly though, the performance on this is just not that great at all. Very much a skin scent within the first hour and a half, 2 hours. It's not explosive. It blows my mind when I see people saying like it just reeks out the door for 12 hours, like my wife or my girlfriend could smell me from 15 feet away. No, she couldn't. You're lying, and you're getting paid to lie. That's okay. You want to make that dollar bill. But to other people who are spending their hard-earned money and not getting paid for this stuff, and they want to buy these things, it's important that we're honest. So I'm just throwing this out there. I hate this one. I really don't like it. Not just because it's not my style. I can appreciate when something was well done. And some of the things on this list, or some of the stuff that I go through, I'm going to tell you, I think it was well done. It's just not for me. I don't think this was well done. And it's just horrible performer all across the board, just not worth the money. So Vulcan Few, that's definitely on my list of ones I cannot stand. And I'm just throwing it out there. On the flip side, just throwing it out there, I'm not an absolute hater of this house. I think they did a good enough job with certain things. I like Vulcan Sable. I like the notes of it, but even still, it's not the most incredible performer in the world. But as far as I know, it's a little bit of a better price range. Let me make sure if it starts to wobble, that's just me trying to keep up with you guys real quick. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My buddy El Gallo, thanks for being here. The new Dolce & Gabbana. I personally enjoy the way it is. It was very well made. Actually, pretty decent performance if you're talking about the Capri and Love. If you're talking about another one I think has just came out, then I don't know. But if you're talking about Capri and Love, I did a review for that the other day, and I appreciate it if you guys would support me by going and watching it, because that helps me a lot when you guys watch my reviews. With that being said, I do not like it. It's not my style. I don't like it like the scent. It's not my style, but it was excellently done. I think that it does really well for the price range. So the new Capri and Love, I rate it pretty okay. But again, it's not my personal taste. I try to be sincere about that. With that being said, Mind Games Blockade. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of Mind Games fragrances, although there was one I really liked, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to get the Discovery set soon, so I can do some reviews of that. Have you smelled Polo Club New York? I've not smelled the New York one. I'm not a big Polo fan, to be honest with you. Torino 24. Actually, I like Torino 24, but so far it's my least favorite of the Torino series. I love Torino 23 is my favorite, and then 21, and then 22. But Torino 24 actually kind of went downwards for me. So it was going up, up, up. And then I smelled the Torino 24 and I was like, it's just really, it was made excellently well, but it's just not for me. So, best French Avenue fragrance. Let me see. I'm going to say I do actually enjoy the Spectre Ghost. And I also really I like Azure Oud, Coco Morado. And I do love Liquid Brune. But for me personally, this is a very personal taste. I actually think that even though I don't like this in the sense that I would wear it, I think my favorite is probably Azure Oud. I actually really like it. So not for me. We have to learn in the fragrance world to be able to appreciate things, that it was done well enough, even if it's not your taste. I would never wear Azure Oud, but I really like it. I think it was done well. So that's probably my favorite of the bunch. Best Lattafa fragrance for women? That's a tough one. I'm not really sure. I haven't had too much experience with women's Lattafa fragrances, just throwing it out there. CD and Lionheart. Ryan, I'm sorry, I haven't had a lot of experience with that fragrance myself. I do not remember. I smelled it once, but I don't remember. I just want to throw this out there real quick. So there's an incredible amount of like dupes and cheapies I haven't had experience with, and there's a lot that I have. I have a rule of 3 on my channel. If I haven't experienced and worn something, not on test strips, but on skin at least 3 times, I don't like to give my real thoughts about it. I'll tell you a superficial thing. So if I smell something at the store, I'll say if I thought it was nice. But I can't really tell you, obviously, about performance. So even with my reviews, I'll never do like an actual review video on something I haven't tried. multiple occasions to make sure I can give you my thoughts honestly about how it performs. So that's just kind of my thing. So if you ask me about something and I say I don't know, if you guys in the chat can help out, if you got thoughts, you're more than welcome as long as you're being respectful to share. Thinking about buying Flower Boy. I'm 12. I have no experience with Flower Boy myself, just to be completely honest. Thinking about getting a Bulgari or a Boss fragrance. So to be real with you, I like the good old fashioned, as far as I can remember, Bulgari Tiger, the original. I think that was pretty nice. Boss Bottled Absolute. I would say I'll send you in that direction. But again, it's just my personal opinion. So try your best not to always buy things based off of what we say on these streams and stuff. Any of us on the YouTube sphere, on the TikTok sphere, listen to what we say. But I always encourage you guys to order samples or go to the stores and try them if you can. If you live in a place where you can't really do that, please order samples. Lots of websites offer them. So could we pray for a second? I mean, if you really need to, I'm totally fine with doing that. I don't know what your belief system is and what exactly like you're going through, but if you really want to, what fragrance smell like God of Fire but better? Just to be completely real with you. And by the way, throwing this out there, I'm about to take a quick bathroom break. I had an appointment this morning. I had to drink way too much water. Just being sincere, that's what I do here. I am me, and hopefully you guys are okay with that. But I keep finding you right before bed. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that you actually get yourself some good rest, though. But with that being said, fragrance smells like God of Fire better. I'm not, to be honest with you, something that smells just like God of Fire but better. I don't know because I'm not the biggest fan of that DNA. And for what it's worth, something in that same vein, I have to think about it for a second. But I'm gonna be right back, you guys. It's 1 a.m. Well, if you do gotta go to bed, I appreciate that. And then, fair enough, I'm looking into a European house. Definitely let me know what you're thinking about. But I'll be right back, you guys. Please don't mind keeping up the questions. And to my other friend, just got Bleu de Chanel. It's so good. Which one did you get? The Bleu de Chanel Parfum is my personal favorite. But I'll be right back, you guys. All right. I know that was very unprofessional, but at the same time, nobody ever said we're professional around here. EDC is really good. I can never tell. I see the little smiley facey thingies pop up, and I can never tell if somebody's doing a bunch of laugh reacts or just doing smiley faces. But either way, if you are laughing, I appreciate you either way. Sorry for interrupting. Lamella Parfum or Lamella Elixir? I'm going to have to go with Lamella Elixir, but I love them both almost equally. Be really good. Have you tried Luva Cobalt? I have not, but thank you for asking. Like I said, and brother Marco, super happy to see you, my friend. I love the Stronger With You. I think that's Stronger With You DNA, but it's really mainstream. Any fragrance that has a twist to this DNA, a twist to the Stronger With You DNA. It's always difficult when people ask these kind of questions because I think about stuff that I would like myself, but something that's kind of like Stronger With You, but a little bit different, like a twist. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know because kind of in ways there's nothing that I can think of that's just accurately just like it. So if you want something that's like more dense, chocolatey, and sweet, which by the way, Stronger With You or anything like that's not sweet, but I will or not dense, excuse me, not chocolatey. But you got everything from Tomi Iommi's Monkey Special all the way over to something like Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Completely different worlds, but something that like if you want something rich and sweet, obviously Sauvage Elixir. You've also got Herod by Parfums de Marly. There's a lot of different kinds of options you can go for. I will say I don't see as many of my buddies talk about this, but Valentino's Uomo, not the Born in Roma series, the original Uomo. It's a leathery sweet feel. It has almost like a powdered sugar leathery feel to it. And so the leather quality that's in Stronger With You, especially the pure parfum or the parfum edition, I think if you like that and you want something a little more mature, maybe you could appreciate this. So it's something to give consideration to. Best bubblegum niche. Do you have any? I do not have any. By the way, if I miss anybody's comments, I'm super sorry. Don't spam, but please feel free to do a repost if you have to, and also continue to do suggestions for each other if I miss anything. I welcome that. Again, this is my channel, but I welcome anybody to help each other out because that's what we're supposed to be here for. Bad Boy Extreme's good, chocolate but totes different. Yeah, best bubblegum niche. I'm not, to be real with you, I'm not the biggest fan of bubblegummy type of fragrances. Actually, the next one that I hate was going to be in that vein. So as far as like niche goes, I don't have too many bubblegummy type niche fragrances. I will say, if you're looking for something on a cheaper end, the Rayhan Lion, I think it was, or Tiger. I'm sorry, one of the two. Let me check real quick. It's supposed to be, they say, like an ultra male. Okay, yeah. So this is the Lion, correct? Yes, obviously, duh. You think I'd be able to tell. So this one actually was pretty good and that mildly bubblegummy type of feel. So for a cheaper thing, it's got moderate enough performance. I think this is something you can go for, Rayhan Lion. But something on a little bit of a different realm, to be honest with you, Stronger With You Parfum carries a bubblegummy feel because of the way the mandarin with the pink pepper goes at the top. There's leather and chestnut at the base, but it's like a distinct, really interesting type of feel to me that has a bubblegum quality to it. That's just my personal taste. Do you have a Sandance by SHI? I do not. Or the Vulcan. So I do have Vulcan Sable, and I can describe it for you. I'm not going to read the notes. Actually, yes, I will. I totally forgot. I got this pulled up right here. By the way, compared to Vulcan Few, $56. Again, I really don't like Vulcan Few. Vulcan Sable, it says here, is $37 US dollar. That's not too bad. Let's see if it actually has like a description here, what I'm looking at. Oh my goodness, that really. Okay, so it says whiskey, coriander, and mandarin at the top with sesame and anise. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of almost licoricey. So it says that that's in the center with cacao, cashmere, tonka bean, benzoin, vanilla. I don't know if a lot of that's going to mean a lot to you guys, but it definitely carries. If you've ever smelled, this is going to make it sound extra cheap, but if you've ever smelled Glade's Cashmere Woods, so the Glade house spray, it's kind of like a nice version of that. But actually, I do like this one. So I really don't like the other one, but this one is not overrated to me. I think this is very good. It starts off extremely dense and tricks you into thinking this is going to last all day long. For me, and a few people I've let try this, it doesn't last like forever, but for the price that you pay, I actually do kind of like this one. So again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. Nobody sends me free stuff. I buy all these. So I really am telling you how I feel about these things. But again, remember now, it is my personal opinion. So it's okay if you disagree. I'm sorry if I'm missing you guys. I smell like Dior Homme. I like Dior Homme Intense. What's the most overrated popular fragrances? Definitely. I really don't care for the Aqua di Gio line. I like Armani, but I don't like Aqua di Gio. Um, there is a lot of Tom Ford fragrances that are unfortunately just a little bit on the definitely overrated and unnecessary. For me personally, like the newer formulations of Tuscan leather, the price you pay for the quality you get's not even remotely there. Versus, in my top 10 favorite fragrances, it features ombre leather parfum. For the price you pay for that, you get way better performance overall and quality, and it's like quite a bit of a price difference compared to some of the other ones. There's a lot that are popular. But Drakkar Noir, yeah, that's definitely a classic. In my opinion, the most overrated is Sauvage by myself. Could possibly be there too. Well, I actually really love Sauvage Parfum and the Eau de Parfum, but obviously, like everybody knows what it is, and it's kind of like died out in popularity because, well, not amongst like certain crowds, obviously. The more like just go to the store buy something crowd. But Sauvage Parfum to me is still a staple that I think fits in a lot of people's house. But it is what it is. Anything like Stetson. By the way, I just want to throw this out there. I appreciate you guys' comments. I really do. It means a lot to me. I'm sorry if I ever miss anything. I'm very much a talker, a describer, so sometimes I can get really bogged down. What about Sauvage EDT? I have it, but it's not my favorite. For an eau de toilette, it actually has pretty okay performance, like longevity wise, but it's just not my favorite of the bunch. It's obviously the most clean and crisp of the entire bunch, but my personal favorite is definitely the Parfum edition because of its density and more additions that give it more of a mature feeling. The EDT is like, 14-year-old to 24-year-old. The Eau de Parfum and then the Parfum editions, anybody could wear, and anybody can wear whatever they want. First of all, I'm going to push that. What would your top pick be for a signature scent, fall and winter, under $150? Whenever there's like a top pick, I can't just pick just one. So I'm going to give you a few. Under $150, you're going to think this is ridiculous. This might make you guys not trust me or what I have to say because, again, it's my opinion, but a lot of people feel funny about this, especially because it's as pushed as overrated. But honestly, I think Paco Rabanne 1 Million Elixir is really great. The rose with the vanilla tonka bean feel, everything about it to me just has like a good feel to it. It's cheap enough, but it smells decent enough. And it's something that you can just grab and toss on and go. It's very strong, lasts all day. So that's just my opinion. Feel how you want to about that. I never said I was perfect. I love Eros Flame. I actually really love it a lot. It was in my top 30 video I did the other day of my favorites. Stronger with You Intensely. I have a little sample thing of that. I don't have the full bottle anymore. So Stronger with You Parfum at this point is the only one that I have a full bottle of. So my favorites go Parfum, Sandalwood, Intensely, and then Absolutely. Bianco Latte is actually really good, but it's not for everyone because it's just a straightforward, fresh baked cinnamon waffle cones with vanilla. Very dense vanilla. It lasts all day. It's a really good performer, to be honest with you. Very, very well done, but it's really straightforward. And you just kind of got to want that thing to go with it. I got EDT because I feel EDP is too manly. I can appreciate that. Burberry Hero is also really good. I love Burberry Hero. I don't wear it. It's not for me. I just love the way it smells. Ombre Leather Parfum. Again, perfect. It, depending on where you get it, you can get it off of certain discounters for a good price. But I would say Eros Parfum, really fantastic for the time of year. For that time of year, you can get. I'm pretty sure you can get Le Merlot Parfum for a decent price, depending on what bottle size you get. Fantastic for the fall for a decent price. You can get the EDT as well. I'm not an EDT person normally, but the original Lamal actually does a really good job for most people. By the way, again, I'm super sorry if I miss you guys' comments. I try my best to keep up with everything. I'm trying to work out talking slower because if you hear, I talk really fast and I don't mean to, just how I am, especially trying to respect everybody's comments. But I also want to be able to like really explain things to you if I can, and just that. Like I said, I'm not a top 10 person. Every now and then, like I was inspired by people like Aaron Terrence Hughes. However you feel about him, that's your choice. But I like to do this, just break it down, tell you how I feel about stuff. I'm not a perfumer myself. I work full time around fragrances, um, chemically created fragrances, candle maker supplies, and all that stuff. That's what I do full time at the job I work for. But I don't make fragrances myself. I just love them. Appreciate perfumery. I have ever since I was small. So I throw out my honest thoughts and everything. But remember, it's just my thoughts. So I really try to be sincere with you guys. Sometimes you're in the mood for that. Sometimes you're right. You're right. Fall, winter, woody. So yeah. So for me, Eros Parfum is one of my absolute favorite year round, but really good. Dense, strong for fall, winter time. It's like takes the original EDT, which I don't like, and then cranks it all the way up to something special. It lowers down a little bit on the too forward barbershoppy vanilla feel. It really adds in that good blend of as well. Eros Flame, I think, is really good for all year round, but does a great job for the fall and winter time too. Can't recommend specifics, just go around sniffing. Absolutely. That's another thing I want to favorite rose fragrance. I can't wait to answer that one, my buddy. But just throwing this out there, very much, very much, very much got to recommend to you guys, please. You see this? I do fragrance reviews, right? And I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to acquire and develop this right here. But this is why I'm always telling you guys, do not be influenced by the whole TikToker um, rabbit brained buy. You got to be impulsively buying whatever's the new popular crap. Just don't do that. Please go smell stuff if you can. Expose yourself to different materials, different fragrances. And please, you don't need 15 fragrances. If you really have money to throw away, build your collection if you want. But every single one of you guys, including myself, are only going to wear but so much and only express yourself but with so many things. So again, two to whatever you think is healthy for you. Two to like 10 or 12 fragrances at max. It's probably a good round for most of us to express ourselves in ways that we connect to. Beyond that, you just start getting stuff that are very, very too much alike, and it just comes, yeah. But just throwing it out there. But with favorite rose fragrances, and also to my buddy here, Jude. Hey man, I haven't been here for a while. I'm not sure if you remember me, but my channel used to be called Jude Fragrances. So I do remember that. I didn't know you changed your name. As you guys can probably see, for a while I changed my name to Andrew Douglas Moon, so my actual first name. It kind of just gear shifted because I started doing extra types of things here on this channel. Well, from time to time, I'm still going to do family stuff here, but I'm backing away from other things and going more straight focused into fragrance stuff again because truth is, I just want to be consistent with it, and I'd like to start another channel if I want to in the future. But for now, it's going to be very focused on this. So I'm back to Douglas Moon Fragrance, and I appreciate you guys being here. Favorite rose fragrances. So right off the rip, I'm going to talk about these. I got Aaron Terrence Hughes' Athena and then also Belle de Nuit. These are two different types of feels completely. This one's my favorite. Just bright. My wife actually like says this is the me smell, the Dougie. She calls me Dougie. So she says this is the Dougie smell because it is just beautiful, bright rose, peony, raspberry. So again, I love rose fragrance. Rose is one of my favorite things, floral fragrances, except when they're like excessively powdery in like a cheap grandma way. And even then, sometimes I love them. But rose and floral stuff brings me a lot of joy because my wife professionally has been working with flowers since long before we even met. And it makes me think about her, which is funny because I wear them because it makes me think about her, but she doesn't like wearing that type of stuff herself. She likes smelling it on me. So we think about each other thanks to floral fragrances because of that. With that being said, this is my favorite one I've ever come across. This man really knows how to work with florals, with Rose Absolute, and even in lower concentrations like this, as far as the Absolute goes. This is my favorite. This really is beautiful, but it's kind of almost tied with this one, where this is much more dark evening, wear it out and about amongst the town. This has like almost like an aquatic blue kind of feel to it in some way, like it's just a nighttime, beautiful essence to it. So Belle de Nuit, but my favorite is Athena when we're talking about rose fragrances. And then I love Ardent by Boadicea the Victorious, as far as that's considered. One of my other favorites, Saffron, Creamy Vanilla Rose. In a way, I'm definitely going to throw Paco Rabanne 1 million in there because it just features that quality. I was not the biggest fan of Portrait of a Lady for certain reasons, especially not just the price, but in general. But even though I'm not a huge dupe person, Unique Portrait really surprised me. Identity Unique Portrait by, what is this, Paris Corner? Really good performance for what it's worth, and it takes a more because of a little bit more of an oud feel to it, oud accordy type of feel. It took what I didn't like about Portrait of a Lady, kind of gear shifted a little and made it a little feel more like something I would appreciate. So if I want something more dark and rich, definitely this one did the job for me. And obviously this is like $20, something like that. So um, certain things like that just bring me a lot of joy. Rose Incense or Rose Incense by Amouage and Rose is Greedy is definitely one of my favorites. And there's a handful more, but I think I'm gonna stop it there just for now so I can see what else you guys are talking about. What would your picks for a date night going out fragrance for a younger guy? So definitely Stronger with You Intensely, really good choice. Honestly, depending on how you're trying to feel, if you want something kind of with a haze of darkness above it, but also like a chromatic feel, my head thinks of silver, like chrome when I think of this one, but it's like good for the evening. It's like got coldness to it. But Armani Code Parfum, it is very strong, very powerful, also a good price range. But I think it's a good date night fragrance. La Mal, of course, Le Parfum if you want to be more smooth, or Elixir if you want to be more abrasive but still sweet and good. If you don't mind, I was going to say my personal favorite fragrance is Naxos by Xerjoff, but I don't think that that's really, it's sweet and it could be for a younger person, but I don't know if you would feel the same way about it. It's definitely much more of a regal type of fragrance. So I don't know. What's up, my friend Diego? Super happy to see you. So I would say Armani Code Parfum, Stronger with You Intensely, or I think the Parfum would still be decent for a younger person. By the way, I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my microphone, so if you guys can't hear me as good when I turn around, I'm very sorry about that. So I'm just trying to do my best to make it audible with you guys here. I do have Herod. Herod is actually my second favorite, almost tied for favorite Parfums de Marly. So, oh God, I love this so very much. It's in my top 10. This is all day performance. This is beautiful. Obviously, these are more on the expensive end, of course. Most Parfums de Marly's are, but you really get what you pay for it. And I really, really love this. Herod, Leighton. I really love Haltane and Percival, but Herod is definitely an incredible fragrance. But it's also, again, on the price you're in, so it's definitely not for everybody. Uh-oh. I missed some stuff here. Whoopsie. I wore Initio Atomic Rose, very feminine leaning, but I actually really enjoyed wearing it. Definitely full bottle worthy. Really? So I'll have to try it out again. I don't own Atomic Rose, but I will have to try it out because Initio is starting to grow on me a little bit more than they did before. I really love Side Effect, but it's not in my top 10 or anything like that. I like Oud for Greatness actually more than I did before. It's starting to really grow on me the more I experience it. So date night go to is DNG EDP or Azara Most Wanted. Hey, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Very good choices. I like those. Do you get a cherry scent from Herod? Because I don't. Some people say so. Definitely not cherry cough syrup, but I can totally see, again, now fragrances are subjective, but I can definitely see how a less, I don't mean this to be offensive, but like a less experienced nose, um, who are smelling things for the first time and kind of getting a feel for them, or they're around something and maybe their mind's connecting certain things to it because that's how fragrances work. Scent profile building perfumery, that's how it works. So I would say that I could see how somebody could get a feel like that, but there's no cherry in it. Um, But I can see how somebody could connect that way to it. Some people smell different materials differently. Some people smell certain things that smell great to others in a fishy way, perhaps, or like a putrid kind of way. So it could be that they feel that way. But for me personally, not even close to a cherry scent. But I could see where people might be thinking of. If you had to pick Oud for Greatness or Haldane, so I did a video about this a while back. Once again, I want to encourage you guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing, I appreciate the guy to go. Well, thank you for being here, buddy. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Very much hope you do. But just throwing this out there, if you guys enjoy these streams and you wouldn't mind helping out and support me, I would really appreciate if you would go watch my videos, so my actual fragrance reviews. It would mean a lot to me. I also have been told you guys aren't getting the notifications for them. Don't know why, even if you got them turned on. But YouTube's funny. YouTube is a landmine zone where things are always happening. So seriously, if you want to appreciate, if you want to help out the channel, if you like doing this with me, please go watch. I posted an actual full review of Capri in Love yesterday morning, and it is not doing so good. But I've also had a handful of people who are on my Instagram tell me they're not even seeing the notifications, so they have to go search for it. So again, I know like I'm complaining, but we have to do this on these YouTube worlds if you want to continue to develop yourself. So please go check them out. Hit the like button. Watch it for as long as you're willing to. I'm trying to cut my videos back down to the newer stuff I'm doing now in a new platform. I'm cutting them down to about 5 to 6 minutes. Keep it a little more palatable instead of before where I was going on too much. So please go check them out and help out if you can. With that being said, um, I think that Oud for Greatness has maybe a little bit more robust performance to it, like a little more open loudness. But overall, I think I like Haldane more. That's where I stood when I did the video months ago. And I think to this moment, I think I stick with Haldane a little bit more. Oud for Greatness is nice, but Haldane is just a little bit more regal. Whereas my wife even yesterday said that Oud for Greatness, once it started to die, because I had some people try to tell me that they thought or they've heard that Aaron Terrence Hughes' Unicorn is some way similar, and I was like, that's crazy. So I definitely wore Unicorn is my third favorite fragrance in the world. I wore it on my hand and wore Oud for Greatness. They're entirely different worlds to start with, and then as well on the dry down. And when my wife smelled it, she was like goo goo galls about Unicorn, but then when she smelled Oud for Greatness, she was like, this just smells kind of soapy once it's dried down. She was like, I'm not really feeling this. Like she's like, it's nice, but it just isn't in that same world. But Haldane, she's crazy about. So they are similar, and obviously Parfums de Marly and Initio are sister houses. But this one's probably my favorite of the bunch. As a matter of fact, I gotta be careful because earlier today I put Oud Wood here because I haven't worn it in a while, and I kind of wanted to remember how it performs and feels. But over here I got a little open spot. I want to remember this because I really do appreciate Haldane for what it is. I love it as a fragrance. Oh, oh, that's yes, most 100%. Haldane way better, way better than Oud for Greatness, and I love it. I just realized I completely, as always, I start talking and I completely veer away from what the topic of the video is supposed to be. So I'm gonna start working through that some more. But please feel free to keep asking questions. I just got a beautiful dry vanilla pipe tobacco from Herod. Is there anything similar to that? It really depends on what you're looking for. So Carlisle is like a good cousin to a degree to Herod, but if you're looking for something very similar to that, it's a little tough because again, a lot of stuff like that is done very well. Unless you start looking for dupes and stuff, you're just going to have to go to different angles. Like for instance, tobacco vanille or vanille, however you say it, very much expensive, way on a different level for how much you get for the price point. But by Tom Ford, I really enjoy that. Royal Tobacco, way different, more rich, but still a good fragrance from Amouage. But for me, Herod is just like irreplaceable. I love Haldane, full cup bottle a couple weeks back. That is fantastic. I'm glad you got that. Haldane is incredible. By the way, guys, just let you know, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom one more time. I'm super sorry, but I appreciate y'all very much. All right. So I am going to continue forward with what I was doing. Anyone else got get a little Harrod TV and a dry down of Althea liquid broom. Um, I would say in a very mild respect, probably more liquid broom, and not necessarily thoughts on El Herman Amber Oud Tobacco Edition. It's the only one I don't have in line. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. I'm not the most incredible fan of most of that line from my exposure I've had to it, but I would need more time with it. I don't own any of those fragrances. I've only been around people who have them, and my experience has been they're just not they don't speak to me very much. But I will say that they're not bad. Top vanilla fragrances, in your opinion? Something playful, not incredibly serious. Huh. So I'm going to go a little bit around the board. I would say I'm not going to do this in an order. So Bianco Latte is wonderful, bright, uplifted. Like I said, fresh baked. For me, it reminds me exactly of the fresh baked waffle cones at the beach here in North Carolina, coming from this one particular place. I think it's called the Fudge Boat, something like that. You walk by there, you get that smell with the vanilla notes as well from the ice cream. As well, huh? Favorite vanillas. So yeah, I'm going to go with Bianco Latte, and then I'm going to go with. That is a tough one, isn't it? It's something not too serious because a lot of them are very dark and rich, and wholly very. So again, tobacco vanilla. I really love that one. It comes across in ways that bring me an insane amount of joy. Um, I'm gonna have to think about that one some more because Altair or again Vanilla Dunes, Liquid Broom stuff like that just kind of gives that vanilla pod richness to it. So it's kind of all over the place for me personally. But yeah, definitely tobacco vanilla to this day make me very happy. I also think of Grand Soir as having a lot of vanilla qualities to it. So something along those lines, and then the creamy vanilla feel that you get from Ardent by Bodicea de Victorious, I really love. But Bianco Latte to me is like an absolute peak of pure just vanilla, straight in your face. Other than on the other end of tobacco vanilla being much more serious and dark. With that being said, just to say a few more fragrances that I really don't care for. Somebody brought this up earlier. They brought up a bubblegum fragrance, so I have to talk about this. Is Liquid Brune a good buy? Actually, it really is a good buy. So that's why, even though I'm not a dupe person, although I can appreciate when they've been done well, um, I don't push them because again, I don't get like I'm not sent them. I don't get sponsored. All that stuff. I just talk about them. I refuse to be paid for this crap to lie to you guys. So for the most part, I don't care too much for dupes, but Eagle Star by Sensual Obsessions, Vanilla Dunes by Hot Lodge, and then Liquid Broom by French Avenue. All of those are various varying forms, but they all are peak compared to the original Altair to me because Altair was just so easily dupable compared to almost anything I've ever experienced before. It was like so easy. It was crazy easy to dupe compared to anything I've experienced before, and so it deserved to be duped because the price point that you pay for these other ones. Again, Eagle Star, Liquid Brune, Vanilla Dunes. Anyone that you pick between the two, they have varying levels of density. So Liquid Brune is a little bit more dense and sweet for a youthful feel, whereas Vanilla Dunes is a lot more floral feel to it. And then right in the middle, Eagle Star by Sensual Obsessions kind of has like a balance of both. But either one of them is a good buy if you're looking. They all perform fantastically. But next fragrance that I really don't care for is this one. Obviously, no offense to anybody who's crazy cuckoo puffs about Hawas. I've sampled the entire line. I know them all very well. I've got different batches of the Hawas, different color variants as well. I just had to be completely real. This was one that really inspired me as I was getting back into the fragrance game because it's very good performance, very strong, robust, very good price. But it as well just is not at all my scent profile. It is way too bubblegummy, plummy, synthetically sweet. If you want monster performance for the price, obviously, this is good enough for a younger person. Anybody can wear whatever they want. If this is your taste. I mean, no offense, again, it's subjective. But I just got to throw that out there. This is like very, very overly synthetically sweet, just bubblegummy to the core, and I hate it. I'm never grabbed for this again. I'll never wear this again for me personally. And I got multiple bottles of it for some stupid reason that I'm going to be gifting away at some point. Not to you guys, like to people around me in my life, but I have Hawas. I worn it once. Yeah, it's just really not for me. But if you love this, that's totally fine. Like my opinion is no offense to you. That's what's so wonderful about this and most art forms is we can disagree and be in different realms. Have you tried Kaf? I have not, Sabil. Thank you for asking them. Have you ever tried L'Occitane Eau de Bois? I have not, Big Blue. I have not tried that one. So again, I'm always going to tell you guys shoot it straight. If I haven't tried something, I haven't tried it. It's funny. somebody mentioned, especially because, like I said, I'm more in like the designer and niche world when it comes to my reviews, not all about the dupes and stuff. But I know you guys care about that stuff. But I had a person during a stream last week come at me because people asked about a couple of different fragrances from cheaper and expensive ones that, especially some of them are more obscure and Middle Eastern. And I was like I said, I'm always honest. I'm like, I hadn't heard of it. I'm sorry, I've never heard of it, never tried it. And they're like, how can you call yourself a reviewer? And how can you say you love fragrances? And blah blah blah. Like as I'm standing in front of these giant stacks of fragrances and stuff, they're like, you don't know anything. You haven't tried anything. And just because there's certain newer ones that I haven't heard of yet. And I was like, what a strange thing. But I appreciate all you guys who are like okay with the fact that I say no. I'm sorry. There's ones I don't know. And I actually thank you guys for telling me about these different ones I haven't heard of, so I can hopefully try them at some point. I have bought things to try out in the future because of you guys' recommendations. But I have had a person, two people actually, but one was on Instagram, just go Cocoa Puffs because I had not heard of something that I hadn't heard of. And it's just the way that it goes. It's crazy. But I recently bought Creed Aventus Cologne. It's so good. So I don't remember what that one smells like. I saw it again at Saks Fifth Avenue the other day, and I haven't smelled it in like a year and a half. I do not remember what that smells like, but I do know some people that I look up to on YouTube say they like it better than the original Creed Aventus. I hated Hawass Ice. I returned it. Black was gross, straight up mildew. Yeah, so like I said, overall, these are just definitely not my style. The Hawass whole entire line is just really not for me. I did do a review the other day of Hawass Tropical. I'm gonna start shamelessly plugging that stuff because again, if you guys enjoy this time with me and these discussions and you would like to hear my reviews, please go watch them because you guys are great coming through with the live streams, but I do not get a lot of support with the actual videos. And I know that sounds like crybaby woo, woe is me, but again, I'm trying to continue to develop this so I can get more fragrances and do more reviews for you guys. And it doesn't work when people don't watch the videos. And I know YouTube is a tricky place, and I've heard that they don't always let you guys know. But please, if you are subscribed to the channel and you do want to help me out, please go watch them. Go watch them, hit the like button, leave a comment, and watch them as long as you can because the longer you watch these little videos, the more it does good for me overall. So please go do that. I know I sound like a little baby, but it isn't happening that much, and I need that help. So I had last week I posted Hawass Tropical versus Le Beau Paradise Garden. And yesterday morning, the new Dolce & Gabbana Capri and Love. So definitely go check those out. Have you tried Xena Hypnotic Amber? I have not, but I will definitely have to check that out at some point because I love Stronger With You intensely. So for me, I've never been the biggest fan of Hawass and the flankers. Smell them all. Fire smells like synthetic and cheap. It does. At some point, like I said, I keep those fragrances so that again during these live streams, sometimes I can just like have them for a prop and to talk about them. But I also kind of want to start clearing house and give some of this stuff away as a gift. But yeah, I hate almost the entire Hawass line. Tropical is the only one I have appreciation for because it did a really good job. But most of the rest of the line, some of them were made better than others, but ultimately it's just a bunch of synthetic cheap junk, and I don't care for it. That's just me, but I'm just throwing that out there. So let's see. What's another one that I know? Oh, so actually, here's one I want to talk about. Oh yeah, this is the one I've been looking forward to bringing up real quick. So Xerjoff is my favorite fragrance house. They are just wonderful. Everything they do, for the most part, they do fantastically. What I am about to talk about is something that was made the way it was intended to be made. It was made extremely well, and I hate it because it isn't for me. So this is a different situation. Whereas I'm talking about I hate this one, but not because it was made poorly or cheap or anything like that. I just hate it. And real quick, let me answer you. Lattafa Hamra worth the hype from creators? Actually, I will say this. Lattafa Hamra and then also Hamra Kawa. Don't worry about Dukan, but Lattafa Hamra, the original, or Kawa, the more intermediate one, I actually like those. For the price that people pay, I think they were very well done. They're nothing like Angel Share, except for in bottling, but I actually like it more than Angel. I don't like Angel Share. That was actually one of the ones I'm going to get to in the future. I'll talk more about that, but I do not like that excessive sugary sweetness and syrupiness that comes from Angel Share. It's just not my style. But Lattafa Hamra, I don't wear it because as well, maybe during the fall I might wear it some more, but it's not quite my speed. But I do think it was very well made for what it's worth. I normally don't really care that much for Lattafa, but they do have a few that are good. Kind of like Eternal Oud. Eternal Oud is, people keep calling it like Grand Soir. It's not. It's not Grand Soir. If you've actually smelled real Grand Soir, you'll know, okay, it's kind of in that vein, but it's still not even close overall with its like luxury, lacking those luxurious qualities and blending. That's the problem. It's the blending. So that's just my opinion, your choice, whatever. but the blending is the issue. But yeah, Kawa is just tanning lotion. Hey, and you know what? And this is what I'm saying. It's totally okay that we're all on different levels here because everybody's got. When I say that, I don't mean like I'm better than you. Different levels. I mean we're all in different places with our scent profiles. So my buddy here, Big Blue, by the way, cool name. He doesn't like. He says it's like tanning lotion, and I can see where he's coming from with that. But I like the Kawa. I like it the most of the bunch. But then again, I also do like tanning lotion, and it's like I can see how you're saying like a cinnamon-ish type of coffee cake tanning lotion. So in a weird way, I can kind of see where you're coming from, lipsticky in a way. I like it, but definitely it's not for everybody. And have you smelled Polo Club New York? I have not. I don't believe. Have you tried Moscow Mule? I have not, Mick. But thank you for bringing that up. Real quick, just to go on to my next one that I absolutely hate. Thank you so much again, you guys, for being here. It really does mean the absolute world to me that y'all come through and ask questions. I appreciate y'all very, very much. It's been a while. Hey, Prakar, super happy to see you, my friend. I'm grateful that you've come through. I appreciate that so much. And to my other buddy here, I have not tried day 3 trace oils. But yeah, I'm super happy to see you here, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time to come by, and I hope life has been good to you. But the next fragrance I'm going to jump into real quick. So again, this was made excellently well for what it's supposed to be, and I hate it. And that is Hayat by Xerjoff. My personal favorite fragrance house in the entire world, but this fragrance makes me very unhappy. Let me see if we can, I want to go through the notes with you guys real quick. So Xerjoff pretty much almost always makes everything absolutely what it needs to be. But okay, so this is an extrait de parfum. It is. It's very, very powerful. It came out in 2023. But let me read a little bit to you here. It says oud, cedar, cypriol, amber, cinnamon, cardamom, lavender, and bitter orange. So first and foremost, and it's $385 for this for 100 mil. So the thing about this is, ugh, mm, I'm sorry. So the thing about this is, the first thing that ruined this for me is I like oud when it's blended right, when it's done well. I shouldn't say right, sometimes right, but also in a way that I like it. I like oud when it's done a specific way. And also, not all ouds are created equal. Not all ouds are filtered and farmed equally. And so that doesn't mean they're not good quality, but they're different types of profiles. I can't believe that almost made me sick. But I love Xerjoff with all my heart. But this one, Hayat, is so. When I saw somebody talk about this before I got this, and I haven't done a full review for this just yet, and it's going to be tough. But they called it cheesy. They said this oud is cheesy. It was the first time I saw somebody describe it that way. Oud is very much at the forefront of this, but in a very dirty, grimy way. This is so. Oh my goodness. This is so very stinky, and it smells just like I've never had to do this before. This is for a specific type of person. I would never want to wear this in public around anyone. I have oud fragrances I really love, but this smells like stinky feet to an extreme. Let me see if I can go back in this one more time. It's horrific. Absolutely god awful. I am not looking forward to doing a review for this because I'm going to spray it. Actually, I probably will not spray it. That'll be the one review you're going to see me do where I won't spray this in the air. But this is just disgusting. Like, I've seen people say they love this and they spray it all over, even though it's a pure concentration. If I was around somebody who put this on purpose, it's like, again, cheesy, stinky feet. And imagine rubbing it all over your body just to smell that way. Who's going to like that? So I can totally understand if this is for some people, but this is just absolutely horrible. I hate this. I hate this so much. I might hate this more than any other fragrance that I've ever smelled. So Hayat by Xerjoff, disgustingly stinky, just cheesy, nasty body spunk. I'm gonna say a gross word here, and I hopefully never say this again. This is like the smegma. This is like concentrated smegma, basically. So again, this is a family-friendly show. I normally never try to say this kind of stuff, but this is like, don't look it up. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up, please. I shouldn't have even said that, but this is like concentrated skin cheese, basically, and this is horrible. But I love this. I don't know about that one. I haven't smelled that one, but if I ever get the chance, Carl is definitely the best one in line. She don't want to smell like. I totally get that, and I don't like. Why don't I don't like Paradise Garden. I get that. Nothing wrong with that. I totally can respect that. I love Paradise Garden, but I love Le Beau Le Parfum even more. But I can totally respect where you're coming from. But my thoughts on Alexandria too, that one's completely opposite for me. I love Alexandria too. It's not for everybody. I hated it. I disliked it when I first got my nose on it because I wasn't exposed to too many. At that time, I had only really exposed to mostly designer fragrances. And when I smelled Alexandria too, I was just expecting something more sweet and more blue. Not like it was supposed to be that way. But, oh no, don't look that up, key sense. No, don't look up smegma. But, if I ever get a chance to make merch, I'm not going to do this because again, it wouldn't be family friendly. But just imagine me having a T-shirt that says that. Like, no, we're not going to go down that road. But absolutely, what's up, buddy King Sword? Super happy to see you here, my friend, and also to Big Blue. I have not tried that one, but I think I will now that you suggested it. But yeah, probably my most hated fragrance of all time is going to be this Hayat. I'm going to keep this bottle. I'm not going to throw it out. I'm going to keep this for just a simple fact of being able to show it to people if they come over and be like, hey, if you ever want to know what not to smell like, try this. But Hayat by Xerjoff, again, this is my favorite house in the world, but this is horrible. I was the same with Alexander too, disliked it, but I have to revisit it. You see, that's my thing. I'm absolutely in love with Alexandria too. I don't wear it extremely often, but I do love it. You know what? Honestly, we're about to do something right here, right now. Just throwing this out there, Eternal Oud is another fragrance that I hate. I think it was well done for what it's trying to be, but I don't like it. I would never wear it. Just my personal choice. Do you have any Club de Nuit Intense Man line? I do. So actually, one of my favorites on my top 20, or the top 30, is Club de Nuit Intense Man Pure Parfum. I don't care as much for the collector's edition. It's still well done. But the Pure Parfum and Club de Nuit, Club de Nuit Sillage, fantastic cover for Creed Silver Mountain Water. Club de Nuit Intense Man, Club de Nuit Intense Woman is one of my favorites. Really brings me a lot of joy. And then Club de Nuit Untold, I love it as well. I have a lot of those. I love them. But yeah, so Alexandria too, an absolute favorite. Brings me immense amounts of joy. But I'm going to talk about this one real quick because who knows? I might end up changing my mind about this. All right, I'm going to eat dinner. Hold on, guys, just real quick. Sorry, guys, my wife was messaging me about something important. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. What do you think of Cremo Spice and Black? I haven't smelled that in a long time, so I don't know. That's horrible noise. I might actually change my mind about this. Who knows? This might grow. I have not smelled this in a long time, and I did not like it in the past because it was too sugary sweet. Let's see if I change my mind. Let's see if I revisit this and feel different about it. I have not smelled this in about 4 months, something along those lines. But before, and you know what? I want to take a moment to talk about this. Good morning, Brandon. So, in fragrances, you don't need to force yourself to like something you don't like. I do always encourage people to experience as many different notes and profiles as you can before you really make decisions about things and revisit stuff because some things that you didn't like before, maybe it was just the wrong day, maybe it wasn't the mood. That can happen. What you just saw with me smelling Hayat by Xerjoff, that's true for me. I hate it. I hate Hayat by Xerjoff. I always will. I will never change my mind about that. But there are other things that say who I am. Yuvraj, that's who you are. You're my buddy Yuvraj, and I appreciate you being here, buddy. So let's see if I change my mind about this. Because I've been hating on this for a while, and I might actually change my mind about this now that I'm thinking about it. I got clear take off for a landing right here. If I don't like this, it might. I wonder what the percentage is for this. I don't know if it's on here or not because I know this is a eau de parfum. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it is. It's an eau de parfum. I know this is boring as crap, but give me a second here. So this definitely has qualities to it that I feel like for how much you pay for this. Definitely, like I said, Hamra is not like this. Not enough to call it a clone or a dupe. But Kismet Magic, that is very close enough to this if you want a cheap version, but even though I don't really like it that much. Andrew, All knows all in the chat must be Spice House. I appreciate you. This 32-year-old man remember my name. Absolutely, buddy. And your arsenal for getting a 10 out of 10, buddy. Lots of love and being sincere and being yourself. As far as fragrances go, absolutely nothing. No amount of smelling good will ever help you get a sincerely wonderful person, man or woman, in your life. They might like you. They might like say you smell good and start talking with you, but you get what I'm saying. Hey, Unc, you got Jean Paul Paradise Garden. First of all, I like that you call me that. I love that, Brian. But I do. I got Paradise Garden right up there. I prefer Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Le Parfum, but Paradise Garden is much more of an aquatic feel. Dope tattoo. Thank you, number 17. I appreciate that. Difference between limited edition and dry down differences. So I just personally feel like the collector's edition, um, I don't know. I don't know the note differences. I can't remember that off the top of my head. We'd have to look that up. But I know that the Pure Parfum just connected to me better in a sweet way. I don't know why, but the concentrations of the right blend of the woodsy feel with the sweetness of that like lemony-ish pineapple type, not pineapple, but that lemony-ish type of sweetness. It just felt just right to me with the Pure Parfum, so I like it more. So it is my opinion. I've known people who like the collector's edition more, but I prefer it. I heard Paradise Garden isn't that citrus based? So in a way, yeah, but it's mostly just more of an aquatic coconut water feel. So more like coconut watery aquatic feel with the mild citrus, whereas it's more creamy woodsy coconut feel with Le Beau Le Parfum versus Paradise Garden. Heck yeah, buddy, you daggum right it is. You are not wrong at all. Sandalwood is 100% fantastic. Stronger with you. If you guys get the opportunity to smell stronger with you sandalwood, please do. Time to try Indian fragrances. You're absolutely right, Euphrasia. It is. If any of you guys got suggestions for Indian fragrances, please let me know. I don't know if they'll ship here, but let me know. Goes into Santal 33 for me. It's not a bad comparison, to be honest with you. So yeah, I do not like this. I'm just being completely honest. I'm gonna have to wash this off. So Angel Share by Kilian, I think it was made very well. Although again, for the price you pay, it could have been done a little bit differently. But this is like it's so funny because Xerjoff Naxos is my number one favorite fragrance, and then next up is Jean Paul Gaultier's La Mal Elixir, and then Unicorn by Aaron Terrence Hughes is under that. So I like Swedish but robust, dense fragrances, very spicy, very creamy. But something about this is just too syrupy sweet and synthetic for the price that you pay. I just don't like this. And it's so strange to me because again, I know a lot of people absolutely love this, but I tried to like it again. This is on my list of ones I don't like. What's the closest to Naxos you've ever smelled? I don't know. Do you mean like what's something similar? Like, are you asking is there a dupe? I've refused. I will never, ever smell a Naxos dupe. Naxos is my favorite fragrance, and I refuse to smell a Naxos dupe just because I don't give a crap if one was like. It's just like, for instance, I really love Reflection by Amouage. Hadlage's Shiaka, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. It's a very good take on it, actually. It's a very good dupe. I would recommend it if you want to save your money, but I prefer the original. But when it comes to Naxos, it's just so precious to me. I won't smell anything like it. Honestly, this is like an excessively sweet, syrupy cousin, Angel Share, but you get way better value for me personally out of Naxos. Just throwing it out there. I have La Mal Elixir. Is that close? Actually, in a way, it is, but not quite. So La Mal Elixir is more almost lipsticky, tonka bean cranked up, lavender blend with the benzoine. A little bit more lipsticky feel. Whereas Naxos is a little more sweet honey feel with like a nice sweet tobacco leaf type of vibe going on, and there's citrus. So that's a big difference. There is like lemon like citrus, but not in like a lemon pledge type of way. It just it's interesting. I've seen people like Aaron Terrence Hughes call Naxos like a freshie because of those qualities. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's crazy. And my legs are doing great, buddy. Do you think Jean Paul Le Beau de Paris Garden is better or worse for summer days compared to Le Parfum? So I always say that Le Beau Le Parfum is year-round perfect and can lean more towards fall and winter almost, but still good for all year. I like it more. Paradise Garden is overall way better for summer. So if you wanted something concentrated just for summer, Paradise Garden. That's my personal choice. Best niche for colder, wet weather. If you would think of it as niche, I like again Parfums de Marly, Harrod, or Carlisle. Um, Again, if you would think about this as niche, definitely Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I like the Eau de Parfum version. Let's see. The Stinky Hyatt. No, I'm just kidding. I would never suggest that to anybody. This is not really niche, and it's not the greatest all day performer, but I think Cypress and Grapevine by Joe Malone is a really good rainy day. I like Black Lacquer by Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, but I definitely would say Harrod or Carlisle by Parfums de Marly will really take you there. Haltane could kind of be in that same vein. Um, I love so one of my favorite fragrances of all time. My number four is Interlude Black Iris by I'm Washed. So that'd be good. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, every one of you guys who are here asking questions. I appreciate y'all so much. Like I said, nothing I do would matter if you guys weren't here talking with me, asking questions, and hanging out. So it means the world to me. That's why, like I said, just please, how does Herod perform on you? For me, it never quits. So I also have a newer bottle of Herod, and so I know people want to talk about how there's reformulations and they went down, and that does happen. It does actually happen. But for me, I have had zero performance problems with Parfums de Marly's. Okay, everybody's different, but I have really bad dermatitis and multiple skin problems and illnesses, and I got tattoos as well. And if you don't know, having tattoos is actually not good for holding fragrance, and so much more. And for me, Parfums de Marly fragrances are just ridiculous. They're great. I have yet to have one except for their fresh ones. So Greenlee performs horribly on me. Sedley actually does pretty good, and the new Castley is just kind of whatever. It fades off pretty fast on me. Favorite gourmand fragrances? Douglas, top favorite designer fragrances. Awesome question, and I'll get back to that in just a second. To Alp, my favorite gourmand fragrances. So again, it really depends on what you would classify, because for some reason I hear different people look at these different. But if I had to choose, I think of Sauvage Elixir being in that realm. I kind of think of Lamel Elixir being in that realm to some degree or another. Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, I think of being in that direction. Um, Maybe Grand Soir would probably be in that same direction as well. So if you would consider those to be like that, and then definitely again the Altair DNA. So it's not my Altair is obviously not my favorite version of it because there's just many that did it perfectly for dupe purposes. But I would say that actually does bring me a lot of joy. But I don't like wearing it. That's a funny thing. So I've got Eagle Star, um, Vanilla Dunes, Liquid Broom, but I have realized that it's just not my style. I gave away my actual bottle of Altair as a gift to a friend because it's just not for me. The best fresh from Marley. I actually agree with that. I think that Greenlee is my favorite of the bunch. I reviewed, but I haven't posted Castley. So I reviewed it the other morning. I filmed multiple reviews at once just to get them ready for the coming weeks. And so I did do a live stream when I first got Castley from Parfums de Marly, a little sample. So I think they were handing them out at first when they was first about to launch, so you could get your own self a sample. But yeah, Greenlee's my favorite of the bunch, but none of them really perform excellently well on me. It's funny because it kind of tricked me. I never like testing stuff on strips, but I sprayed Greenlee on a strip and it was on there for like 3 days. Still noticeable. Then I put it on me in general and it just kind of fades away. So yeah, I wasn't impressed with Castley. Me neither. Carlisle's really good. Absolutely. I love it. Oud Wood, Oud Wood, Oud Wood. My dog goes crazy. You know what? First of all, that's funny. Second of all, I keep forgetting about Oud Wood. I really do. I put it on my hand. It's not the greatest performer in the world. And I've actually got an older bottle, but I do love Oud Wood. It is really beautiful. So it's not radiant, but it is a longevity good thing. Can't wait for new expensive PDM line. Oh yeah. Do you have any Afnan Snowy? Oh, I'm so. Do you got any Snowy? That's so silly. So that's not what that. That's like a condensed thing. What does that mean? SNO. Are you talking about supremacy? What is SNOI? I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I'm brain farting right now. I'm sorry. But with that being said, yeah, I love Carlisle. Also, I missed the question. So Diego, my favorite. So definitely Jean Paul Gaultier's Lamel, the entire line, the Elixir, the Parfum. Ultramel is actually pretty decent, but I don't love it. Than the original, and they did a reformulation, and I actually love the updated Lamel. Um, I think of ombre leather kind of in the difference between niche and designer, but I still count it like that. Sauvage Parfum, Sauvage Elixir, Eros Parfum, Eros Flame. Eros Energy is great. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. And Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, the one, the Eau de Parfum. Let's see. Armani Code Parfum, YSL, Y Eau de Parfum, stuff like that. Not only intense. Uh, oh, no, in that case, I don't think I have that. No, I do not. By the way, guys, just letting you know, I don't know. Let me see what time it is. Okay, so it's 12. All right, I got a little bit of time left. So I don't have too much more time that I'm going to be able to do this stream. So I'm going to go through a few more that I don't care for real quick. Let me just look. So this one right here, this Amouage Imitation, I was very excited about this at first because I first smelled it and it had like a nice cherry cola. Even though it's not cherry, it had like a sweet cherry, like a cola-ish type of feel to it or something along those lines. But after wearing it, it becomes very annoying. It's extremely linear, and I came to really despise this. I have a few friends who like this, and I might give it away as a gift at some point, if not for the sake of having it for videos. But to be completely honest with you, this is one that I've grown not to like. Let's see. What else have I not? Also, I really like L'Homme Ideal Extreme by Guerlain, and then this one makes me really happy. Habit Rouge, or Habit Rouge, however you say it, the Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. I really love that one. It's very lipsticky, and to be honest with you, I like that kind of stuff. French Riviera. I don't have that anymore. I gave it away. But French Riviera by Mancera. I like a lot of Mancera fragrances, but I really did not like that one. And then Lattafa Emir, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm not the hugest fan. Just being completely honest with you. It's not horrible. I'm going to have to give it a little bit more of a chance. I can be completely sincere with you. This one I'm not the hugest fan of. And let's see. Dukan. Lattafa Hamra Dukan. This one's cool, but let me let that air out a little bit. It's neat and all, but it's still not distinct enough that you should have it over the original unless you just really want this additional note blend. That's one that I'm not the biggest fan of in the entire world. And to be honest with you, Rayhan Crimson, I hated that. Rayhan Elixir, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of that one either. And I have grown to a point where Dumat Red, is it Nitro Red? I liked that at first. Now I don't care for it that much. So there's a handful of other ones that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'll get to those in a little bit. But I just wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything. How's Lattafa Assad as a dupe for Sauvage? Do you have Lattafa Eclair? I do not, my friend. I've heard somebody who does have it say that they enjoyed it, but I don't know how it does overall myself. So Lattafa Assad as a dupe, honestly, it's okay. So for the price range, I think it does have pretty decent enough performance. But I gave it away ultimately because it just wasn't for me. I love the original blend and luxury feel that you get from me personally on the original Elixir, Sauvage Elixir. So it's just not for me. But I think that it did pretty good enough for the price that you pay. So just throwing it out there. I like Assad Bourbon well enough. But yeah. So Kismet Magic, a lot of the Rayhans and stuff are not really doing it for me, just to be completely real with you. Almost every dupe, basically, for God of Fire and then God of Fire itself make me unhappy. So I think for the most part, I did not like at one point. I did not like Special Monkey, but I'm starting to enjoy it. And then this one, Lattafa Fakar. To be real with you, most Lattafas don't impress me. They don't make me very happy. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I think they are just a very paint by numbers company. They do some stuff well, but then a lot of times it's just cranking stuff out for the sake of cranking stuff out. And it's my personal opinion, but they are just very much they put a lot of money into packaging and then as well to all this other stuff, but the quality is just not quite always there for me. But that's my thoughts, my opinions, and so no offense to anybody, but this is just another one of those ones that I was kind of like, whatever. I kind of feel the same way for Afnan. If I was to be sincere, French Avenue is the second place. I think that Armaf does the best overall for me personally. Armaf, sometimes Paris Corner, but definitely Armaf, and then the second place, I would say Hadlaj, maybe, are like the well-known brands for dupes to some degree. Excuse me, Armaf, French Avenue, and then Hadlaj. I don't care for any of them overall, but I think that Armaf does the best job when it comes to really putting stuff out there that gives you what you want for the price that you pay. That's just me. That's just my opinion. But just saying, which house do you prefer, Amouage or PDM? Ooh, that's a tough one. What do you say, Eros? Eau de Parfum would be good for everyday cologne. Absolutely. Wise Guys on the Road, fantastic name, by the way. I'm not sure if like you have a channel where you guys are out in the street, like driving, doing stuff, but really like your name. But, and I do not, by the way, have any Diptyque perfume. So I do not, buddy. Just thank you for asking. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have any. But with that being said, I love Parfum the most for Eros, but the Eau de Parfum is a really good choice for anybody just trying to have a little something, something like that. So between Amouage and PDM, so I in my rankings, Parfums de Marly's fragrances, like so in my top 10, for instance, I have a Amouage over Parfums de Marly, but I think that Parfums de Marly is a more consistent house with making stuff I like. That's just my style. I think that there's less Amouages that I want to grab for than Parfums de Marly's, but I think that Parfums de Marly, excuse me, Amouage made some incredible stuff that is unbeatable for the most part. So I'm gonna go with PDM to be honest with you though. I love Reflection. I love Interlude 53. I love Royal Tobacco. I love Black Iris, Jubilation. There's a lot of good rose incense, but I think that in general, I love the quality and just overall, like I genuinely love more Parfums de Marly's than I do Amouages. Oh, John, very good question, my friend. So it is my, at the moment at least favorite of the bunch with all this line. But I do like Oh John. It's a fantastic fragrance. Give me just a second. Incredibly done. Very, cinnamon, apple pie, coffee cake type of feel. It's just something about it that makes it my least favorite compared to Carlisle and Harrod and then Leighton. But I do love this fragrance. It's like absolutely perfect for the fall, winter time. But I really like Oh John. I think it's worth the money that you pay for it. Most Parfums de Marly's, this is just my opinion, but I think they're mostly worth what you get, what you ask for them, what you give to them, and all that stuff. So just throwing that out there. But I just want to go ahead and say, oh my God, I got some on my tongue. That's not going to do well for me in the long run. I am going to have to go ahead and get off of here. But I just want to throw this out there. Gee whiz, I just made a bad choice. I'm sorry. Give me a second, just you guys. Whoopsies. Every now and then, you think you let it settle enough, and then you go in for a whiff, and the next thing you know, you're choking half to death. But anyway, so I'm going to answer a few more questions, if you guys have any. But I am about to have to go. But I appreciate you guys so very much for coming through here. I don't know for sure, but I might be able to stream again later tonight. If not, the rest of this week, I'm going to do my best to stream each day as I can. Then I will say, though, starting next week or the week after, we're going to, on this channel, I always say we, because I talk about you guys included because we're a community here. I'm going to be gear shifting over to doing one video a week as I have been doing. So on video review, I want to ask you guys, what day of the week do you think is the best day to post a video? I still do not understand. I'm still trying to figure that out at this point. Which day of the week do you guys think will be the best day of the week to post a fragrance review video? Please tell me what you guys' thoughts are, your consensus, because it helps me a lot here. I try to really ask when you guys think is a good time to do it, because Monday works for certain channels. It doesn't seem to work for me at all. In the past, Tuesday and Wednesday seems to do good, but then Thursday has also done good as well. Friday doesn't seem to work at all. So Monday and Friday seem to absolutely not work. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is a good range, but I want to keep it consistent every week. So that and or Saturday. So if you guys was Fragrance Fridays, I like the sound of that. Fragrance Fridays work good for me as a streaming day, but it seems to do horrible for me posting videos. I don't know why. Tuesdays and Thursdays would do well. That sounds pretty good. Because I was looking at certain people like Aaron Terrence Hughes' schedule is Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I don't want to be in competition with him. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Saturdays, kind of Saturdays could work for me. So I think Thursday, you think Thursdays would be the best. Okay, so let's get a consensus here. If you guys were choosing between Tuesday and Thursday, when would you like to see it happen? So if a couple of more people could just tell me your thoughts, Tuesday or Thursdays, we'll kind of do a gauge there to see which ones work good. And then, of course, from there, the next couple of weeks, I'll kind of try it out. I'll try to see how it goes. I'll try a few different things. Maybe this coming week, I'll do a Tuesday. And then after that, I'll try to do a Thursday. And we'll see how things overall work. But I really need you guys' help. So definitely check in next Tuesday to see when I post the video. It'll be Eastern Standard Time, so I'll probably try to go towards the evening time, maybe see how that works out. But please definitely keep a watch out because at this point, I really need you guys' help with getting my review videos back on a boost. So I know like I'm complaining here and doing a crybaby thing, but like I said, I have to if I want this channel to continue to develop. I just hit 120,000 subscribers because some of my older videos have been doing good and these streams have been doing well. I got a lot of people coming through from the streams. On the flip side, though, the actual videos are not really getting a whole lot of traction, and that's where I need things to be key because I'm not going to be able to always keep up with the streaming schedule depending on how things are going with life. I am going to keep streaming every week, but that's what I was going to say is I'm going to post one review a week, and also I'm going to stream at least twice a week going forwards in the evening times, like on the maybe one day on the weekend, one day during the actual week after work. So that's kind of how 2 to 3 times a week I'm going to stream. Outside of that, that's kind of the ratio that we're going with here. So like I said, if you guys think that Thursday, if that sounds to you like the best day of the week to stream, I'm going to try Tuesday next week. And then if that don't seem very good, I'll try Thursdays from then on. So whatever makes you guys the happiest, that you can be consistent with watching out for my videos. I appreciate that. So with that being said, I've already went through a good list of all the fragrances that I ultimately just do not care for. Hayat by Zerdrops is the one I hate the most. But then we got Hawas, most of the entire Hawas line. Um, a lot of Latafas are just not my thing. I just do not care for them very much overall. And then, yeah, for the most part, and then again, like French Avenues, Vulcan Fuse, stuff like that, just fragrances I really just don't care for. I just really do not speak to me in any way, shape, or form. And I appreciate the fact you guys are here, excuse me, to listen, to be a part of this with me, to discuss. I'm about to end my stream the same way I always do. So again, this is not pushing a necessarily like a religious agenda or nothing. It's just to everybody who's here. I don't care what your particular belief system is. If you don't believe in anything at all, that's totally fine. I just like to always end my streams with a group prayer here together. And you guys are either welcome to wherever you are right now to bow your heads and join, or you can just keep commenting if it's not your thing. That's totally fine. I do this because it's just a part of who I am. I like to share it with you guys, but I'm never telling anybody that you have to believe the same things as me. It's just what I do here. So that's how I normally end my streams. Please feel free to keep commenting whatever as I do this. But dear God, thank you so much once again for this beautiful day, for these wonderful people. I thank you with all my heart for just being alive, for having the opportunities that I have. I thank you for everybody who's here, who's been here asking questions, whether they stayed or went, it doesn't matter. I'm just grateful that we're all here together, and I pray for blessings in the lives that every single one of these people who are with us right now, everybody out there. I don't know what they're going through. I really do not. But I seriously hope that they come to understand, that they have meaning, that they have value and purpose, so much purpose, not just one thing or this or that. And we all fail, we all struggle, we all fall. But we have the ability to choose each day to get back up, to keep pushing, and to just work the best we can to make better decisions than the time before. So I pray for growth and learning and just understanding and peace in every one of these people's lives. And I lift them up to you in your name. Amen. Thank you guys so much for being here. I truly do appreciate it, more than you probably could really understand. It means the world to me because the fact that I get to talk about something I love so much, fragrances, and get to share this with you because I really was scared back when I started doing this channel. I'm not a perfumer. Like I said, I was inspired by Aaron Terrence Hughes because I love how he does one fragrance at a time and breaks it down. And people like him who do that. He's like a professional and he's got his education and he's got experience for a very long time. He's like 47 or so years old and he's been doing this for like 1 or 2 decades or more, like way longer. And I haven't. I've been into perfumery ever since I was a child, and my mom introduced me. I've been a passionate lover of the art of perfumery, but I don't know all that stuff. I've been trying to learn. I've been studying for a while, but there's so many things I just don't know. And so for me, it's all about just how does it make you feel? How does it perform in real time? Because you don't need to be a professional to understand that. And just like experiencing different fragrances and stuff that I love and stuff that you guys love, it means the world to me. So just throwing that out there. Thursday evenings would do best around 9 p.m. EST. I'm going to do that then. I'm absolutely going to work on doing that then and see how that goes. So as a matter of fact, next week, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to post another video. I'll do some more streams, but I'm not going to post another actual review until next Thursday. I want all you guys who care about this channel, next Thursday, 9 p.m. EST. I don't know what that is where you guys are, but whatever you can, just be prepared. So the next week, I don't know which one I'm going to do just yet. I'm not sure which one I'm going to post, but I do have like 10 of them already filmed and ready to go. So, like I said, if you want to help support the channel, I did the review. I posted it for Capri and Love Light Blue, the new formulation from Dolce & Gabbana. I posted it yesterday. Just go to my channel, find that, watch it as long as you're willing to watch it for. The longer, the more it helps. Hit that like button because that also very much helps YouTube give a crap about what I'm doing and think that like anybody cares about what I'm doing. And then leave a comment if you're willing to because that helps as well. Or share it, whatever you're willing to do. Go do that. It helps me so much. I know you guys don't care to hear all this stuff because it's like me marketing myself, but I have no choice if I want to continue to grow. And I want to. I don't care if I ever get to 1 million subscribers or a video gets like 500,000 views. I don't care about that. I just care about being able to continue to grow in general and connect with more people about this and have a good community. So seriously, like if you guys are willing to do that, please go check it out and share the love. So I'll be seeing you guys on the flip side. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming through here and taking the time to hang out with me. So before I go, I just want to know, is there any other questions that anybody has whatsoever, fragrance wise? Is there anything else you would like to know? And seriously, Brandon, Alp, all you guys, thank you for your input. It helps me way more than you possibly understand with being able to develop on this channel because feedback, I realize, is like that's why I ask you guys questions. It's the most important thing. That's why I went back to Douglas Moon Fragrances because earlier a lot of people didn't want me to change the name at all, but I did it for the reasons that I did. But I did realize that even though I've had a lot of fun doing religious studies stuff here on this channel, ultimately it was kind of hindering the people who are coming from different regions for different places for different reasons. We're kind of getting very conflicted with one another and not really getting it. Marketing background here, ready to serve, ready to serve me, Lord. What's going on, me Lord? Do you guys remember the magic of when you saw Shrek for the first time? Like, there's a new Shrek coming out, and I'm gonna see it. I don't care. Me and my wife. So one of my other hobbies, real quick, just to throw this out there that we do, me and my wife. So other than comic books and trying but failing to learn languages and playing video games when I got the time to, other than that, and then fragrances, and then doing religious studies and stuff like that. Another huge thing for us is movies. We love going to see movies. We have the AMC thing here in America. I don't know if you guys have anything like that where you are, but it's like $24 a month, but you get 4 free movies at the theaters a week. So, and you also get all these upgrades and you get points, you get $5 rewards here and there. So like every new movie that comes out almost, we go see them. We saw Together the other day, and then we saw the Fantastic Four movie. We saw Superman and a bunch more other stuff. We're going to either today or tomorrow to go see that new Bad Guys movie. I know a lot of people think it's probably dumb, but we're looking forward to that. We like seeing everything. And then also we saw Naked Gun. That was fantastic. Just throwing it. I don't care what you guys say. We absolutely love Naked Gun. So just throwing it out there. But that's one of the other things we love doing is going to see movies and stuff. So I don't know why I said all this. I just, as you know, here on this channel, it's all I just really express myself. I'm me being me, and that's what you're going to get when you come here. So I appreciate you so very much. But thank you for helping out, Brandon. Didn't you say you're from South Carolina the other day? I'm just trying to remember because I kind of brain farted a little bit. I think that's what you said, is that you're from South Carolina. Um, Real quick, let me see about this. Okay, ask her if she's. I'm sorry. I know I don't have to talk to text this, but I'm going to real fast because I'm lazy and I have arthritis. Ask her if she's already cooking. If she is, then yes. If not, then we'll switch it around to tomorrow and we'll go see the movie tonight. So sorry about that. We're trying to figure out. Me and my wife trying to make plans because my mother-in-law is making food for us, or we're going to have dinner together. We do that. We live in the same neighborhood basically, and so pretty much we like to go over there and have dinners a lot, and so that's pretty cool. So like I said, I like you guys get to know me. I want to get to know you guys a lot more too as you come through this channel because it really means nothing if I don't have a community type of feel going on, and it just also is very exciting and very fun to get to know you guys a little bit better. But with all that being said, yeah, appreciate you guys so much for stopping through again. My name is Douglas Moon, and if you see my older videos or even the ones I've already recorded and you hear me say I'm Andrew, that is my first name. You can call me that. You can call me Douglas. Either one works for me. I really don't care. But yeah, I appreciate y'all so very much. I'm from North Carolina, although the state not big, but over near. Let me check here: Durham, Raleigh. So is that where you are personally? Like you're near? So Durham is actually where we lived before we moved out to where we are now. So I can't. I'm not going to say exactly where we are because I don't want like. I never know if it'll come back to haunt me saying it on here. If you message me on Instagram, that could probably be helpful. But yeah, that's where we originally were from. Is that a region? I'm actually originally from Burlington, but moved away from there. So yeah, definitely. We always go to like South Point to go see movies and stuff, and it's really really fun. I was cracking jokes the other day because my mother-in-law is like always really, really scared. Even though I'm not bragging. I'm very grateful for this, but we were able to move into a gated-ish community a while back, and my mother-in-law was always like freaking out about like people finding out where she lives, even though it's like pretty much impossible for anybody to get to her house. So I was telling my wife, what if like we made it look like I live streamed her address. Like so, like had somebody edit like a photo of their house and everything, and then like make it look like I posted a YouTube live stream, and then like edit it to make it look like a million people saw it. So I thought that'd be really. I don't want to give her a heart attack because apparently she almost passed out when somebody threw a fake snake at her a couple years ago. So I love my mother-in-law, but we thought about that. What if we was to do something along those lines and make her think that like a million people know where she lives now? She'd lose her mind. But I don't want to do that to her. I want to, but I'm not going to. So I'm not that mean. But favorite oud fragrances? That's actually a great question to end this with. Really and truly to the core, my friend. This is my favorite one I've ever smelled. Erin Terrence Hughes' Unicorn. I fell absolutely head over heels with this. I love it. Yeah, her heart would explode. She wouldn't be able to handle it if I made her think that a million people knew where she lived now. So she'd lose her mind. But this is absolutely positively the greatest oud fragrance I've ever smelled. I know he's got other ones that are probably better than this, but the unicorn edition, I got multiple bottles of this coming in, so I keep it stored up. Which is funny because technically, if he was shipping these sizes, um, it's expensive, but I would have been able to just get 100 mil of it, but he sold out. So I am able to stock up on these though. So this is the 10 mil, and they're like $80 or $90 a piece. So it's not cheap at all, but it's high quality, fantastic, beautifully done. So it is bergamot at the top with raspberry and saffron, and then special made oud just for him, specially done oud for him, and then also CO2 of frankincense, and I believe myrrh, but I can't remember, but I know for sure cinnamon leaf, and a handful of other things at the bottom. It is just my favorite oud fragrance. It's the most beautifully blended. Doesn't even start off harsh. Like it immediately starts off smooth and beautiful. And then after that, I still do love oud wood. Black Iris I count because at the base of it with the labdanum and stuff actually features oud, or at least oud notes and that quality to it. But yeah, oud wood still brings me a lot of joy. Let me think. I love oud silk mood and stuff like that. Although I don't remember if it has actual oud in it or not, but it's supposed to have like a little base of that, a little bit of roughness with the papyrus and stuff. So uh, and How Tame definitely supposed to have that oody quality to it and brings me a lot of joy. But definitely Unicorn is my favorite. That sounds really good. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. So if you can get your hands on a bottle of it, if you can just get one bottle of it, the little 10 mil, only a few sprays is all you need. It's monstrously beautiful, very well done. He used high quality, so the CO2s is like very high quality versions and very expensive materials of the cinnamon leaf and the frankincense and all that stuff. But like I said, bergamot, and then it's like a very beautiful overtone of the raspberry with the saffron, but the oud is just so smooth and good. I also, I don't wear this, but I do think it was very well done. This is Silver Oud by Amouage, but here's my problem. This one, an imitation, features castoreum, and I know that this shouldn't bother me so bad, but it does gross me out. Hello, buddy, just Rob. So something about the fact that there's castoreum in it just makes me uncomfortable, and so my mind doesn't like it because of that. So Silver Oud was done very well, but it just because I know that's in there, it's just in my silly little mind, it causes me problems. That's all. Starting to appreciate barnyard animalic ouds. I do too. Like I said, if it's done the right way, if it's blended right. Oud to me is not something I like it to very, just being the main thing, the star. Like in something like Unicorn, it's the star of the show, but not in the way you would think. So Oud is fine, Isfahan, and Nuit de Feu. I'm gonna have to try those out. But with that being said, I am logging off of here now. So I appreciate you guys so very much for stopping through, taking the time to be here. Yeah, like I said, even my closet for being a little bit on the messy side. That's I don't know why I haven't thrown those out yet, but I still got freaking all these Zerjoff thing containers and stuff like that. But over here, this is like I said, I'll show you guys actually real quick while you're here. So yeah, like I said, this is where I keep all my bloomers. No, this is where I keep the dupes and cheapies so far that I've got left, and then a few right there. I had more, but I ended up giving them away. And then as you can see, let me see if I can get my flashlight out real fast. And I appreciate you too, buddy. So that's where I keep like a lot of these babies, the other Zerjoffs, and most of the Alchemy line, with also my big bottles of Parfums de Marly and stuff. Then over here is where I keep just a little blend of different things, my Manceras and all that jazz. Zerjoffs, Amouage, and my Giardini di Toscana and so forth. Here's where I'm keeping all this jazz and my very fingerprinted silver play button. And then this stuff right here. So that's the majority of my collection so far. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. But like I said, I'm getting out of here. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping through. Please, please, please share my fragrance reviews. Go watch them. The most important thing is if you watch them, hit the like button and just give it some time to watch it through. That just means the world to me. So again, I appreciate y'all. I just apparently not enough people are doing that on the channel, or at least are watching them, telling me it was good, but not hitting the like button as well. I know it sounds stupid, but that is what makes the videos do good. It just that's how YouTube decides if you guys like it or not. So that's all I ask of you guys ever. So thank you so very much for being here, and I'll see you guys.